Divya, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing that meeting screen.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us wait
Yeah,
for a. Yeah.
yeah, Ravi, I
Let us.
can hear you. I'll be back in 2 minutes, Ravi.
Sure. No problem. Hello. Sir, actually. Murli, are you back? So, Divya, let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we can start. Okay, Divya?
Sure, Ravi.
And tomorrow, what I do is that I'll be sending you the links, okay, through which you need to install the VM player, the VMware, and the Hadoop sandbox. These are the things that you need to install and then start getting ready with this particular Linux operating system. You need to get a hangover of this particular Linux commands and what is the relationship between this Linux and HDFS. Okay, all these
Yeah.
particular things you need to be really thorough before we go ahead and then start working on this particular map reduce programs. Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing is in big data, there are three different streams you can have the option of working. You can have the option of working as a big data developer where you need to be a hardcore Java developer for the purpose of writing these MapReduce programs.
Okay.
Okay. Hadoop MapReduce programs comes up with a set of all MapReduce libraries that have been written in Java for the purpose of accomplish this particular big data problems. Okay. And second thing is that if you are good at the database technologies like Oracle, SQL Server, something of that sort, on Hadoop HDFS also as well, you can have the option of putting up one more database. That particular database is called as the HBase. Okay. On that particular HBase, you can have the option of using this pig. I think you might have heard about pig. You can have something called as Hive, as well as you can have something called as the Scoop, which is basically used to transfer the data between different third-party systems to HDFS and from HDFS to the different third-party system. That particular part is basically treated as an analyst module. That is basically treated as an analyst module. That is the second thing. Okay. And third thing, what you're having here is the administration module. Okay. In this administration module, what you will be doing is that I was talking about, right? Hadoop is something that can be installed in a single node, as well as Hadoop is something that can be installed in a multi-node class as well.
Yeah.
Whenever you are installing these things, the data nodes, as well as you can have thousands of data nodes that can exist, as well as you can have only one name node that can exist. Okay. In such a case, how to I told you, right, there is a failure capability where some of the nodes may fail and some of the nodes may start. All those particular things will be there. In such a case, how can you have the command of, how can you have the option of working throughout these particular things for the purpose of getting a fair enough control on this particular systems is something that we do it with this particular admin part basically. Okay, so these are all the things that need to be totally thorough with for the purpose of getting a complete understanding of these particular features. Okay. So those are all the things that are expected to come up. This is basically the roadmap that I am talking about, and my only concern to you is you need to understand each and every component of this particular Hadoop ecosystem, and focus should be given onto one module. Maybe either it is analyst module, maybe it is a developer module in order to search a job in the market. That should be your game plan for the purpose of cracking this particular big data. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Hi, Sir Ronan.
Hello, Ravi. Sorry for being late. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. So I think Murli is also going to come back, and what we were discussing yesterday is hi, Murli.
Yeah.
Let me open this Excel sheet also as well, so that it will be easy for me.
Ravi, actually, I haven't gotten the material actually. So far I have got the recordings link, but I haven't gotten the material from for the Hadoop.
Okay. If you can wait for a couple of days, 1 or 2 days, I'm compiling all the materials that has to be shared, and then I'll be sharing those particular things eventually. Most probably by this particular weekend, Saravanan. I'll be doing that. Okay.
Oh, sure.
No problem. Divya, I will also be sending you all those materials also as well. Okay. Okay. Now, there are two types of file systems. One is nothing but a local file system, and second type of file system is generally treated as a virtual file system. Okay. Virtual file system. Any local file system, whatever you take, has to be supported by an operating system. Any file system, whatever you take, has to be supported by an operating system, right? So what is that operating system? That operating system might be an Windows operating system, or else it might be a Linux operating system or Unix operating system. It has to be supported. Okay. And in the case of the Windows operating system, what you're going to have is that you're going to have the directories. That is, C directory will be there, D directory exists, as well as E directory exists basically. Okay. But in the case of the Linux operating system, there won't be any specific directories that exist. In the case of the Linux operating system, there won't be any specific directories that exist here. Okay. How do you know that one? Let me tell you here. Suppose this is the Windows operating system. When I go on to my PC, I'll be able to see this C directory, F directory, and E directory, right? And when I click on this particular C directory is going to be the root, and you're going to have all those particular directories that exist, right? And similarly, when I click on this E directory, you also have the same thing. When I click on this F directory, you will also have the same thing that exists. Okay, but now each and every directory itself is a directory. Each and every directory itself is a root directory, and at the time of booting this particular operating system, at the time of installing this operating system, we'll be giving one particular user. That particular user is treated as the default user. That particular user is treated as the default user, and that user is going to be the owner of this particular entire file system, basically. Okay, that user is going to be the owner of this particular entire file system. Okay. Now, how, and one more thing that you need to understand is that every user, how do you know that who are the users that are existing here? You'll be going to the control panel, and within the control panel, you'll be seeing the list of users, and within those users, you'll be able to see those particular users over there. Even in this particular C directory also, you can have the option of seeing something called as the users. When you go to this particular users, you can see all the users and default user is there here. Okay. So when you go to this Ravikumar, this is nothing but your home directory of this particular Ravikumar. Similarly, if you want to see all the users, you can open this one so that you'll be able to see who are all the users who are existing like this. So for this particular Windows operating system, if you want to understand what is the home directory, what is the best way that we can do, Divya? Can you please tell me what is the best way to understand the what we can say, to understand what is the home directory? If you try to specify something like cmd and click on this command prompt, this is going to be the home directory of this particular Windows operating system for this particular user. Okay. Now, if you want to switch this user, okay, and then if you want to log into some other user, what you can do? I can try to go to this particular control panel. I can delete, and then I can go to this particular switch user. So within the switch user, I can have the option of seeing another user through which I'll be able to change the user. And in such a case, I can have something called as C users and then XYZ. This is the another user that you are going to have. So what I'm trying to say here is that for every operating system, you'll be having an associated file system. And to manipulate the contents of that particular file system, you are expected to have a particular user who is going to be the whole and sole responsible for that particular file system. Okay, so C colon is something that you can directly see, D colon is something that you can directly see, and F colon is something that you can directly see, which are treated as the local file systems of your Windows operating system. Sarvan, you are following, right? Murli and Kamran. Yeah.
So today you are covering the Linux.
Yeah,
Linux
I'm going to cover the Linux operating system, Kamran. Okay.
Okay.
Now, yesterday what has happened is that there are some technical difficulties for which we are not able to successfully complete the session yesterday. So I'm repeating that particular session for your good sake also as well. Okay. Now, this is what is your Linux operating. So, and coming to this Hadoop. First thing what we need to understand is that Hadoop, in the case of this Hadoop distributed file system, it is not a local, it is not a physical file system. Okay, what we can say here, it is something called as a virtual file system. It is called as a virtual file system. Okay, so when this is something called as a virtual file system, what we can do is that this virtual file system can be interacted only with the help of two things. It can be interacted with the help of the browser. It can be interacted with the help of the browser. And second option is that you can have the option of interacting this particular Hadoop with the help of this particular terminal. Okay, this is a terminal that is nothing but a separate application which is available on this particular Linux operating system or Unix operating system. Okay, so virtual file system can be accessed with the help of the browser or with the help of the terminal. Terminal is something which is available on this particular Linux operating system here. Okay, now one more thing is that for this particular Linux operating system also, you'll be having something called as the directories, home directories, and all those things also that will exist. So how do you know that what is the home directory and what are the other things? That is something that we need to start focusing today. So is the concept with respect to the Windows operating system in the case of the local file system is clear to you? Divya and Sarvan and Murli and Kamran, is this clear to
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So for the purpose of working on this particular Hadoop, you are expected to have a couple of things here. Hadoop is something that can be installed on the Linux operating system, as I was telling you yesterday. It can also be installed on the Windows operating system. Can anybody tell me what is the difficulty that you have if you start installing Hadoop on the Windows operating system? What are the challenges that you can have here? You need to install Cygwin, SCOGWIN. This is a tool that we need to use. An installing Hadoop on the Windows operating system is a cumbersome process. That's why nobody dares to install Hadoop on this particular Windows operating system. So whatever all the distributions that you see, all these particular distributions works only on the Linux operating system only. Okay, so for the purpose of installing Linux, what are the things that you need to have is that you are working on Windows, right? When anybody is having this particular Windows operating system, there are two things that you need to really focus on. Okay, the first thing that you need to focus on is that you need to have an VM player, virtual machine player. Okay, as well as you need to have something called as VM sandbox, virtual machine sandbox. Okay, where what we can say is that in this particular sandbox, you need to have this particular Linux installed. On top of this Linux, you also need to have this particular Hadoop that need to be installed, and then this is a packaged sandbox. And what we do is that we call this one as a virtual machine. Okay, so if we want to play this particular virtual machine, that is something that because virtual machine will have its own internal operating system. Okay, as well as that internal operating system cannot be directly be operated. Okay, you need to have a host operating system through which you will be able to operate that particular internal operating system. So what is that host operating system that you are talking about? The host operating system is nothing but your Windows. Okay, so if you take this particular laptop, this is what is your Windows operating system. Okay, within this Windows operating system, you have this VM player that is existing here. Or else you can also have the option of using this virtual machine VMware Workstation 12 player, or else you can also have this particular Oracle VM player that exists here. Any machine that you can use. Okay, and VM player is something that is basically used to operate these virtual machines. Okay, so in my laptop, what I'm having is that I'm having two virtual machines that exist. One virtual machine, what I'm having here is that I have this Edureka first VM that is there. This is what is your first virtual machine, and second virtual machine. This is basically an Oracle based open virtualization box. You can see here, format archive. Okay, as well as I'm also having something as IntelliPad. Yeah, IntelliPad new virtual machine is there. Okay, in this virtual machine, if you see this one, you'll be able to see a particular file with some extension. What is that extension here? That is what is called as this VMX. Anybody seeing something called as a VMX here? This is a virtual machine, CentOS operating system virtual machine is there here. This is the CentOS operating system virtual machine is there. This is something that is existing here. Okay, so you have to have a virtual machine player, and you need to have this particular virtual machine that is basically used to play. And within this virtual machine, what you're going to have here, as I have told you, you're going to have this particular Linux operating system, and within this Linux operating system, you have this particular Hadoop that exists. Okay, when all these things are existing, and when this is being played within this particular VM player, okay, that has to be controlled from this particular Windows operating system, which is nothing but the host operating system. This is the configuration that you need to have for the purpose of working on this particular Linux environment. So VM sandbox is something, a total machine itself. It will be having a RAM, it will be having the hard disk, as well as it will be having the processors, but all these particular things are being borrowed from this particular host operating system. So that means that it cannot have the self-existence that need to be operated from this particular host operating system basically. So this is what is called as your VM player. So maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'll be sending you all the steps that are required for the purpose of working on this particular Linux, and how to install this particular VM player and VM machine. Accordingly, you can have the option of working on this particular things here. Is it clear, guys? Sarvanan, Murali, Kamran, and Divya.
Yeah.
It only can install on the Linux.
Hadoop is
If I
something that
want
can
to,
be installed only on the Linux operating system. Obviously, you can also have the option of for installing on Windows operating system, but it is a quite cumbersome process. That's why people don't get into the details of installing Hadoop on Windows operating system, Kamran. Okay.
okay.
Now, so I have my VM player that is existing, which is of VirtualBox here. Okay, and when you open this one, what you have is that I have my CentOS Linux operating system that is running. Can anybody tell me what is this CentOS? CentOS?
Distribution of Linux operating.
Yeah, this is what is the distribution of Linux operating system. Okay, so let me get into this particular. Okay, so here also you have this my computer is there, and you also have seen this particular my computer on this particular machine here. So what is the difference here? This is the PC, and also you are seeing that particular PC over there. What is the difference basically? This is a Linux flavor, whereas that is a Windows flavor. So when you open this one, you will not be able to see any C directory, D directory, or E directory, something of that sort. What you will be seeing is that you will be seeing only this particular file system, and this particular file system is what is called as the local file system. Using this particular local file system as the base, your Hadoop distributed file system will be installed. So that's why because Hadoop file system, just like as I have told you, it is a virtual machine. Just like the virtual machine, it is nothing but a virtual file system which does not have any self-existence. It need to have a host for its existence basically. Okay, so when we click this particular file system, you don't be getting any C directory, D directory, and all those particular directories does not exist here. What is something that is existing here? This is the root. This is what is called as the root directory that exists. Okay, so whatever C, D, E, F, all those things what you are seeing in Hadoop, in Windows does not exist here. This is what is your root directory, and within this root directory, you are going to have this particular home directory. You're going to have this particular home directory. When you please open this one, automatically what happens is that you'll be having a home symbol that exists, and this Edureka is nothing but your home directory. Edureka is nothing but your home directory, and when you click on this particular home directory, you'll be able to see all these particular things. So that's why in the case of in the case of Windows, if you are being asked, suppose this is Windows and this is Linux. Okay, so what are the two things that we can do here? Windows operating system, the home directory is nothing but C:, users:, Ravi I can specify. This is what is your home directory here in the case of this Windows operating system. But in the case of Linux, what you can do here, you can specify something called as C:. It is no C:. What is one thing that you are having here? Tell me.
Home.
Root directory, right?
Root, yeah.
Yeah, you have something called as the root directory that exists, which is nothing but the // Okay, something called as a home root directory, followed by you have something called as home, followed by you have something called as home, and then followed by you have something called as Edureka. This is what is your home directory here, right? This is what is your home directory, and this is what is your home directory here. What is the purpose of the home directory? Sarvanan, why are you calling this one as the home directory? Can you please tell me? Sarvanan, why are you calling this one as a home directory?
Sorry, I was on mute actually. Basically, in Unix or Linux, when you do add a user add or something like that, like a command, you say that this user, let's say Sarvanan Jayavalu as Jayaval, you give him a home directory. The home directory is the directory to which he is logged on when he logs on his user ID.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, the thing is, whenever you log in as the user with your name, and when you get into that particular command prompt, automatically you'll be placed in a particular directory. The directory is treated as the home directory. Okay. Similarly, I enter into this particular Linux. Okay. So in Linux, what is the way that you can have the option of interacting with your file system? The only one way that you can have the option of interacting with your file system is going like this and then opening these things. Otherwise, the other way that you can have the option of is working with this particular terminal. The terminal is nothing but a system application that you can have the option of working on. So please open this terminal. When you open this particular terminal, you have this thing that is coming here, Edureka at the rate of localhost, and then the tilde operator. What you are seeing here is nothing but the home directory. Okay, if you want to understand whether the directory is your home directory or not, what you can do is that you can specify something as pwd. Present working directory is nothing but your /home/edureka. So this is the root directory. Under that root directory, you have this particular home. Under that particular home, you have this particular edureka that exists here. This is one thing that you need to really understand. Got it, Murli?
Yeah, got it.
Now, so for the purpose of working with Linux operating system, you are expected to be aware of a particular set of Linux commands, as well as for the purpose of working with HDFS file system, you are expected to have this particular HDFS commands also as well. Okay, so if you are able to master some of these particular Linux commands, automatically with some change in that flavor, you'll be able to work on those particular HDFS commands also as well. So before we go ahead and then start working on those particular HDFS commands, you really need to understand what are the common Linux commands that you are expected to work on, what are all the common Linux commands that you are expected to work on, and how should it will help you in order to work on these particular things is something you need to really understand. Okay, so the first thing what you are talking about here is nothing but I want to understand the list of contents in this particular directory. What is the directory? The directory is nothing but your home directory. So if you see something called ls and then start putting enter here, you'll be able to see these things here. This is what is your list of documents here. So let me tell you one more thing. Any entry that is starting with blue color is nothing but a directory, and any black color thing what you are seeing here is nothing but a file. Okay, and similarly in Windows you are having two types of files, right? Hidden files and exposure files. Here also you'll be having two types of files. One is nothing but the hidden files, and second thing is the exposure files. So if you are really interested to understand those particular hidden files, what you need to do is that you need to specify something called as ls-a, which will give you the list of all those particular hidden files along with your scene files also as well. So when I specify like this, you'll be able to see these things here. Black color font, black color text that is being shown with this particular dot is treated as a what?
Hidden file.
That is treated as a hidden.
File.
Okay, that is treated as a hidden file. Okay, and blue color font with a dot in between is treated as a hidden directory. That is the difference that you need to really understand. Okay, and another thing that you need to really understand is that the files in the case of the Linux really does not support any extensions. Okay, if you try to specify something called as .csv, or else if you try to give something called as .txt or .pdf, these things are not really recognized by this particular Linux shell. Okay, better thing is that try to give only the plain vanilla files without having any extensions, especially when you are working in this particular Linux operating system. Okay, especially when you are working with this Linux operating system, this is the thing that you need to give here. Okay, and let me tell you a couple of things here. And these are only the short forms that you are having here. Suppose if you want to really understand what is the long listing of this particular file, I can specify something called as ls minus a and l I can specify, or else I can specify minus l I can specify like this. So as I have told you, if an entry is starting with hyphen, that is treated as a file. If an entry is starting with d, that is treated as a directory here. Okay, and this is the time when that particular file is created, and these many number of bytes are occupied by that particular files or the directories. Okay, this one is the user group, and this is nothing but the user. Okay, and this is nothing but the read write permissions of the group, the user, and those particular other members also as well. Read, write, and execute. Okay, and what is this one basically? Sarvanan, I was telling you yesterday.
Number of levels.
Number of
levels.
Yeah.
Levels, basically.
This customer.pig is only at only one level. So when you try to take this particular desktop, you'll have this particular 3 levels that exist. If you have this particular metadata, that you're having 2 levels that exist. Okay, so this is something that you're having here in this particular case. Okay, if you want to clear the screen, you can specify something else clear where this will be totally removed. So that's why many of the stuff what you are having here can be really implemented with an 80-20 rule. That is 80% of the Linux programming or Linux interaction can be done by knowing only 20% of the commands. That is something if you can follow, you will be able to work mostly on all these particular things here. The reason why I am telling this particular Linux commands is, let me tell you here one thing. Let me tell you one thing. See here, this is what is your, I can call this one as a Linux OS. Linux OS. Okay, and within this Linux OS, assuming that what I'm having here is that I have this particular I'd like to change the color here. I'd like to have this particular HDFS that is existing here. Okay, and where are we right now? This is nothing but the client. This is the client here. Sarvanan, can you please tell me whether the client will be able to access, whether the client what you are seeing here, whether he can access this Linux operating system, or else he can directly interact with this particular Hadoop distributed file system. Can you please tell me?
Depends on what kind of a client it is, right? If it is a Linux client, he will be talking with Linux. But if it is an HDFS client, he will be able to interact with the HDFS.
No. What I'm asking is,
Be able to talk to Linux.
A client means it is an external program. Okay, an external program. So a program, an external client or a program, if it want to interact with the Hadoop distributed file system, it has to go through this particular Linux only. Okay, bypassing that particular Linux, he will not be able to work on that particular Hadoop distributed file system. You agree this point, Sarvaran?
Yes, yes, yes. But what I meant, Ravi, was like, for example, the client, the Java program or otherwise, has to talk with the HDFS. It has to do through HDFS commands, and the
Yeah,
HDFS.
I understand that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
for that particular to host those particular HDFS commands also as well, you need to have this Linux operating system that should be in picture, right? That's what I'm talking about.
definitely, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
As you,
That
as you
is one
said,
thing.
virtual file system, and the
Yeah,
virtual file system, it does not have its own existence. It is a
yeah,
layer built on the host operating system.
yeah. It is a layer down this particular host operating system. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are good on this particular. And by the way, I have one of my friend whose name is Sarvanan. Okay, who is working in Genpact. Do you know
Okay.
him by any chance? He's from
No,
Chennai only.
no.
He's in.
Chennai 1 in 3 is a Sarvanan, so. So I don't know, yeah.
So he is based at Atlanta right now. Here, my neighboring state.
Okay.
Yeah. Just want to let you know this.
What is his last name?
It last name is D. I'll tell you at some point. Let
Okay.
me. Yeah, his name is also Sarvanan only. Yeah. I thought whether Darswararan has joined this particular scene is something I always maybe his voice is also same as you only.
Okay. Okay.
So, his name is Sarvaran Durai Ranjan.
No.
Durai Rajan. Yeah,
No.
Durai Rajan. Yeah.
No.
You know him?
No. No idea actually. Ravi.
No
I
idea.
don't.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. No worries. Yeah. No. Yeah. This is the thing. And one more thing. What you need to understand here is a client HDFS is basically for storing the data, right? HDFS is basically used for storage. It
Right.
has its name node as well as it have its data nodes. Okay, it has its name node as well as it is having something called as the data nodes that exists, right?
Right.
And we
Right.
use this particular client in order to place a particular file in some of those particular name nodes using that particular sorry.
Data nodes.
Uh, I need to use this client for the purpose of placing a particular file in those particular data nodes through the name node. That is
Right.
what is the concept, right? Basically, that is what is
Correct.
the concept.
Right.
So if you want to really do that one, what is required is that you cannot directly go ahead and then place an external file into that HDFS directly.
Mm-hmm.
Into that HDFS directly. So a particular so-called file, what you're talking about, the file, what you're talking about here, uh, initially what it has to be done is that the client should access this particular file, okay, and then it should place this one within this particular local file system here. It should
Correct.
place this particular file within this local file system. This is what is called as your local file system. Okay, the moment once it is kept in this particular local file system, then only you can have the option of passing this particular file from the local file system into this particular HDFS. Okay, then only you can do like this.
Right.
And if you want to retrieve any output of this particular HDFS, what has to happen is that you need to get that particular file from HDFS to this particular local file system, and then only from the local file system only you will be able to access that particular data. So that's why, so for the purpose of placing your files into HDFS or taking out those particular files into HDFS, you need to have this particular Linux commands also that should be known, supplemented with those particular Unix commands also as well. Supplemented with those particular Unix commands, you need to understand those particular concepts also as well. Okay. Now, the next thing what I want to let you know here is even then, right now, our thing is not like this only, right? It is also having something else. We are also having something called as 1 minute. Let me share this. Put it like this.
Ravi, one question, Ravi.
Yeah.
So I saw this Hadoop official notes. What is written there is a client request to create a file does not reach the name node immediately. In fact, initially the HDFS client caches the file data into a temporary local file. So that's what you're talking about. Temporary local file in the client itself, right?
Yeah, temporary local file in the client itself, yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
So, and one more thing, this is our thing, right? We have the Windows, within the Windows you have this Linux operating system, within this one you have this particular HDFS.
Okay.
So, and this Linux operating system is being maintained with the help of this virtual box basically. Is being maintained with the help of this virtual box.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so that is the reason you need to be aware of this particular Linux commands for the purpose of working on this particular pieces.
Okay.
So just to keep the things simple today, before I start making it complicated tomorrow, one thing what I want to do is that I'll go ahead and then 1 minute. I'll tell you how to create the files. Any idea how in how many ways you can have the option of creating these files, guys? How to create a file?
You
Guys,
can
mind
create a
you,
file
I'm
with a
not
touch.
creating a
Touch.
yeah. I can see I'm not creating the file in the HDFS, right? I need to create a file within the local file system. So creating a file can be done in how many ways?
You can use touch, you can use VI, you can do a cat, whatever this thing, and
Yeah,
then
you can use touch, you can use VI as well as you can use something called as cat. Okay,
yeah.
so let us see this particular cat, and then based on that one, we can go ahead and then start working with the rest of the comments. Okay, so cat has having three different forms here. You can use cat, a single greater than operator, and then specify a file called as sample. Okay, you can use this particular cat followed by two commands and then followed by this particular sample here. And one more thing is that I can have this particular cat followed by sample here. These are the three forms of this particular cat. These are the three forms of this particular cat. So when I use something called as cat sample, what does it mean is that it is basically used to print the contents of the file. It is basically used to print the contents of the file. Okay. Now, assuming that that particular file is existing here, assuming that particular file is existing, it is basically used to print the contents of the file. When I use something called as cat sample, what does it mean is that we need to assume, see, the file need to be first created. File is created, and then you can print the contents, type the content, and save. Okay, so this is the first time when the file is being created for the first time, and when you want to insert some content into this one, you can have the option of using this particular cat sample. And third option what you're having here is that you are having something called as cat double greater sample here. So file is already existing, file is existing, and content is also there. Content is there. You want to append the content to the existing file, then you can have the option of using this particular cat $$ sample. So how should I do this one? Go ahead and then specify something called as cat sample. No such file or directory that exists. So if I want to create a file and then start copying this particular content, what I need to do is that I need to do something called as cat greater than, and then I need to specify something called as sample. When I specify this one, I can specify here, welcome to the world of big data. Welcome to the world of big data. Okay. See the impact of big data. Aruna, a question to you. Do you know
Sure.
what impact this big data is going to cause in the next 2 to 3 years of time?
1 second, sorry. What impact big data is going to cause in the next 2 or 3 years of time?
Yeah.
Uh, well, I can see the first impact right now in the job market. The first impact is like 60 to 70% of the job in the Bay Area right now is in big data. That's
Really?
number one. Yes. And yeah, I can tell you an immediate impact. And this is not even now in 2016. I can tell you in 2012 itself, I was with Oracle at the time. I was an employee of Oracle and I had gone to consult at PayPal. PayPal was a very heavy Oracle shop. But even in PayPal, 4 years before, they had use cases for three different paradigms. So for data dealing with money and transactions and other things, they had Oracle. For analytics, they had Hadoop, and for real streaming data and other things, they had Cassandra as well as MongoDB. So this was 4 years before or 5 years before. Right now, I mean, like most of the big companies, they are having clear use cases for this thing for RDBMS. Previously, everything was RDBMS, everything was Oracle. Now, not so.
So the age of RDBMS data warehouses is gone. Okay.
I don't know. It is not
We are in
gone.
the world. Yeah.
It is not gone. It is not gone, but it has been reduced. I mean, like anything that deals with money, anything that deals with asset, RDBMS asset transactions, RDBMS will be there. But other things, it is gone, as you said.
The thing is, I will tell you, the rate of the unstructured data is also increasing rapidly, Sarvaran.
Correct.
Okay, and then obviously there is a demand of applications which are basically used to process this unstructured data is also increasing. That is a place where this Hadoop applications are pitching in basically. Okay, and
Correct.
the second thing is that we are also talking about IoT concepts, right? Internet of Things that is also being talked at a greater scale these days also as well. IoT
Correct.
is something that we need to really understand. Anyway, so yeah, thanks everyone for the insight. So we have this particular text that has specified. Now I want to save this particular text. How can I save this particular text? I can have the option of specifying Control C and Control D. Okay, if I specify something called as Control D, I save this particular content and then I can come back to this particular screen. I can save this content as well as I can come back to the command prompt. Okay, I can come back to the command prompt. Now, if you go ahead and then specify something as sample, what happens is that you'll be able to see this particular data here. You'll be able to see this particular data like this. Okay, now the other thing is now the other thing what I want to do is let me tell you. I'll specify something as cat sample. Then what happens here? I can start adding this one here. Okay. Learn the Hadoop ecosystem and analyze the data. Analyze the data. This I have specified. Once I have specified, what I can do is that I can go ahead and then specify Control D once again. Okay. When I specify this particular Control D once again, what happens is that you will be able to get this one. And again, what you can do is that you can have the option of specifying cat sample. You'll be able to see this particular thing. It's not Divya, you are following, right? Divya, Kumran, and Murali. When we add this particular content, that content is also being added here. You can create a file, you can add the contents to the file as well as you can print the file also as well. This is what is the purpose of the cat command. Okay, now
Yeah.
now one thing that you need to understand here is, can anybody tell me what are the disadvantages of this cat command? What are the shortcomings of this cat command? What are the contents of this cat command?
Previous data is not seen.
See, one thing is
Like,
that you can
yeah.
only append the contents to the file. You can only append the contents to the file. But one thing that you cannot do is that you will not be able to go to the previous line and then change the content. Go to the previous line and then change the content, which is not possible with the help of this particular cat command. You agree with me, Sarvanan?
Right, correct.
So that is a place where this VI editor is going to come into the picture. That is a place where the VI editor is going to come into the picture. Okay. So if you want to use this particular VI editor, let me tell you, there are three modes of this particular VI editor. VI. In VI editor, what you have is that you have the default mode, which is the escape mode, which is a mediator mode. We have something called as the insert mode, as well as we have something called as the colon mode. What it is that we call this one as the quit mode. We call here quit mode. Escape mode, insert mode, along with the quit mode that exists here. Okay. If you want to really understand what exactly are those particular modes, see here. Initially, when you try to open that particular file with the help of this VA editor, what happens is that you enter into this particular escape mode. Okay, let me show you practically here. VA sample. So what is the here? Welcome to the world of big data. See the impact of the big data, learn the Hadoop ecosystem, and then analyze the data. This is what is your here. Okay. Now, this is what is, you cannot do anything. Even if you try to type something also, you will not be able to type. Okay. For the purpose of typing something, what you need to do is that you need to click on this particular I. You need to select this particular I button, which will, 1 minute. You need to select this particular I button that will turn into the insert mode. Divya, you are seeing that insert mode, right?
I'm able to see that.
Yeah, you can see that insert mode. Within this insert mode, if you want to see here, if I want to insert some text in the middle, what I can do is that I would like to insert some text in the middle. I had it, right? This is which is not possible with the help of this. This is not possible with the help of this particular cat command here. Now, once I type this one, what I can do is that I can click on like this, and then I can format the content just like a free form text. Now, I would like to save, and then I would like to come out. So, for the purpose of changing this mode to the quit mode, what I need to do is that first I need to press this particular escape where that insert is gone. Okay, so Divya, Murali, and Sarvanan, I have pressed this particular escape, which that insert mode is gone. Now what I can do is that I go to this particular colon, and there if you want to save this one and then quit, you need to specify WQ. Then this is something called as save and quit. So now when you try to see this particular command called as cat sample, you will be able to see here. Okay. Now I enter this particular sample once again. I'll enter this particular sample once again, and within this sample, what I do is that I click on this particular I, which is nothing but the insert mode. Come here. What I do is that I come over here once again. I don't want this text to be saved. Okay, I have specified like this. The moment once I have specified, what I do is that I specify colon. Sorry. First, see if I specify colon, what happens here? Colon will be coming here. That's what I need to do. I need to click on this escape in order to get into the escape mode. Then when I specify something called as colon, what I do is that I specify something called as Q followed by this particular exclamation mark here. Exclamation mark. That means that quit without saving. I want to quit without saving here. Okay, so when I start doing this one, it will be coming out here. Once it comes here, what I do is that when I try to specify something else as a sample, the data will not be displayed here. Sorry, I'm sorry. Q here, when I specify something called as cat sample, you will not be able to see that data here. This is what is the purpose of the VA command. Is it clear? The difference between VA along with the cat. Murali, Kamran and Sarwan. Sarwan, I hope you already know these things, but just as a preparatory things we are doing here, basically. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing what we are having here is touch. If you want to create only an empty file, what I do is that I can specify something called as touch and then specify something called as empty. Empty file is created. So if you specify something called as cat empty, what happens here? This file is going to be basically empty only. Nothing is there. Now, what I would like to do is that I would like to copy the content. From that sample file to this empty file. Sarwan, can you tell me what is the command that we can use to copy the content from that particular file to this file?
You can redirect the file.
I can use something called as CP, copy paste. I can use something called as sample, and then it will use something called as empty. Empty. Copy and paste. Now when I say something called as cat empty, you'll be able to see that particular data. That is what is called as CP command, which is very much important. Okay. CP command, which is going to be very much important here. Okay. Now once it is done, the next thing what you need to do is I would like to move the contents, move this particular file, cut and paste, move this particular file from this particular directory to some other directory, okay, some other location. So in such a case, you need to really understand how to create that particular directory, okay? You need to really understand how to create that particular directory. So for the purpose of creating the directory, what you do is that you specify something called as mkdir. Divya, mkdir stands for make directory, okay? Mkdir, and then what I can do is that I can specify this one as okay, move directory. I can specify move directory. I specify something called as mv. Source file is what? Source file is sample, and where I'm trying to move here, I'm trying to move this one as dot, sorry, m tab. M sorry, m tab. MOV DAR tab. It is moved. Suppose if I want to see the contents of this particular sample, do you think that this exists here?
No.
It should exist basically. Why? Because it has been moved to that particular place. So if we want to change this particular directory, especially something like cd m tab, if we specify like this, cd mov dar, okay, and then here if you come and then if you see something called as cat, what is it?
Is it tab is not working here? Tab is not working?
Tab is not
In
working.
the Linux?
Tab is expected to work out here, which is not working here.
Yeah, normally
So
it bring it when you write it.
yeah, it should show the things basically. Yeah. I use something called as cat, and using this cat, what should we do here? I need to specify this sample. This is the thing that you're having here. So this is what is your mode directory here in this case. So because I'm in this particular mode directory. Okay. So these are the ways of copying the data as well as moving the data. See, MV is something called as cut and paste. CP is called as copy and paste. That is the difference that you need to understand. Okay. And we have seen how to create the directory. Okay. We have seen how to create the directory only. Okay. So Saravanan, can you tell me the different ways of creating the directories? The flavors of creating the different directories here. Suppose I want to remove this directory, what should I do here? In this version, what is happening is that rmdir is working. Move dir. MOVE, sorry. rmdir, MOVE, dir. Where is it, madam? So what should I do here? I go with this, or else I want to remove that file first. For the purpose of removing this file, I can specify something as rm move dir slash, what is that file? Sample. File is removed. Then if I want to remove the directory, I can specify something as rmdir. What I can do? I can specify something as move dir dash. The directory is also removed. So if we have some files or any other subdirectories that are existing in that particular directory, I cannot remove that particular directory. Clear, Divya, what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Now, now the next thing what I want to discuss here is, see here. The next thing what I want to discuss here is, before I close this particular session, suppose if I specify something as rmdir, sorry, mkdir, Ravi slash data slash Infotix. Sarvan, can you tell me what happens?
There.
Murli, Kamanan, can anybody tell me what happens here?
Create the directory with the Ravi slash data slash, what is the affiliates?
It is not creating that one. If I want to create this one, what should I do is that I can need to specify something called as mkdir hyphen p Ravi slash data slash Infotix. Minus p means progressively create those particular directories progressively. So what does it mean is that you go ahead and then first start creating the Ravi directory, and within that one you create a subdirectory called as data, and within that directory you create a subdirectory called as Affiliates. So this is minus hyphen p, generally treated as progressively create this particular directories. Suppose if I specify something as mkdir abc, what happens? Sarvan, you are there? Kamran, you are following?
Yeah.
So what is this? What happens here when you start working on like this? Here, ABC directories will be created at the same level. If you start working like this, what happens is that ABC directories will be created at the same level, and then when you try to use this ls command, you'll be able to see the A command along with the B command along with this particular C command that are existing at the same level in this particular case. Okay, this is ABC here. ABC are being created at the same level. Okay, and then only Ravi is there here. So if you see this ls-l, you'll be able to see Ravi, and within this Ravi, how many levels you're having here? You're having 3 levels that exist for this particular Ravi like this. Because under Ravi, you're having data, under data, you're having something called as analytics. Okay, this is how we can have the option of working with these particular pieces here. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. And tomorrow we'll see the remaining concept. We'll see the remaining important components of this particular Linux operating system, and then I'll start focusing on the remaining. I'll start focusing on the HDFS commands also as well tomorrow. Okay, so today I expect that you have understood what is a file system, what is a virtual file system, what is the major difference, what is the home directory of the Windows operating system, what is the home directory of this Linux operating system. Okay, and within this particular home directory, what are the other things that you're having in terms of how to create the files, how to delete the files, as well as how to create the directories and how to remove the directories. Okay, how to list those particular files. These are the things that we have discussed. Kamran, I hope you are clear. Any questions?
No, I'm pretty clear.
Murali, are you clear?
Yeah, I'm clear.
So the moment once HDFS is completed, obviously what we'll be doing is that we'll be seeing the concepts of this particular MapReduce, and then we'll be eventually focusing on this particular MapReduce programs for the next 2 weeks of time. For the next 1 week of time, we'll be focusing on this particular MapReduce programs, and I expect I'll be sharing you all the links by this particular weekend, so that you can have the option of working on this particular Linux and then get a hangover of what exactly is going at that particular place. Okay. So
Can we get the recorded lecture also?
yeah, of course. Raid is supposed to provide those particular recorded lectures. Raid, you there?
Okay. No, he's not here.
Yeah, you'll be getting the recorded lectures also as well, Kamran. Okay.
Thank you.
So see you guys tomorrow. Wish you a good night, and then we'll meet tomorrow, same time. Thanks, Divya.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kamran, and thanks, Murli. Bye.
Have a good night. Have a
Good
good
night.
night, everyone.
Okay, bye.